If you work as a manufacturing facilities engineer, installing a new piece of equipment can be as complex as the machinery itself. From prep work to alignment and testing, it's your team's job to put it all together. That's why it's good to have Grainger on your side. With industrial-grade products and next-day delivery, Grainger helps ensure you have everything you need close at hand through every step of the installation. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Join us and unwind with a good book. Welcome to Relaxing Reads.
Hi, it's Deb in Halifax.
Hi, it's Simone in Vancouver.
Hey, it's Tanya in Edmonton.
So excited. In today's episode, we chat with Marissa, whose pen name is Julia McKay, when it comes to the honeymoon holiday switch. And at the end of the podcast, we do have some exciting news to share with you about Marissa and something she's been waiting on for a while. But before we get into our chat, Deb, why don't you give us a little synopsis about what the honeymoon holiday switch is all about?
Sure. Well, our latest read is just in time for the holidays. The Holiday Honeymoon Switch from Julia McKay, or as we know her, Marissa Stapley. Trading places and vacations might just be the Christmas miracle these two best friends need. Holly Beach and Ivy Casey are bury the body besties. When Holly's fiance jilts her, leaving her in shock and with a non-refundable honeymoon, Holly convinces Ivy to switch places. Ivy will go on the Hawaiian honeymoon her best friend can't bear to take alone, while Holly escapes to Ivy's rented Hudson Valley cabin to binge watch holiday movies and heal. Holly's wallowing is interrupted when her rugged Airbnb host turns out to be her high school academic rival who's had a major glow up. And Ivy's solo retreat is upended when Holly's ex checks into the honeymoon suite with a new woman. Enter the hot hotel bartender to come to her rescue. Against all odds, this Christmas might prove to be the most magical yet.
Oh, this book gives me all the feels. What a perfect time to introduce Marissa. Hello, how are you?
Hello, I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. Lovely to have you
great.
back.
Hi. Yes, it's so lovely to be back.
We all three just finished reading the Holiday Honeymoon Switch, which we loved.
Oh, I'm so glad.
All right. Well, Julia McKay has written the Holiday Honeymoon Switch, but Julia, we know her as Marissa Stapley, and you have hit it out of the park once again.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. Besties switching vacations and falling in love. What else could we really want?
Oh, gosh. Isn't this so true?
I know. And we absolutely love Holly and Ivy's friendship and how supportive they are of each other. It's a beautiful thing. And I think it makes you appreciate those relationships. Many of us are lucky enough to have, the special kind of love that we have for our girlfriends. And is that where it all started, when you had this storyline in mind?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm very, very lucky to have some wonderful, supportive and nurturing female friendships in my life. And I did dedicate the book to my best friend, Sophie, who, has really been there for me. I lost my mom 4 years ago, and that was really challenging. And my mom was truly my best friend. So for her to step into those big shoes, it's just meant a lot. And I think as I was thinking about my next romance novel, I kept thinking about the other kinds of relationships that sustain me. And so I ended up I call it like a romance, but it's also a womance. It's a love story between women. Their relationship is so important, and it's important to the workings of the story.
A womance. There was always a bromance.
Yeah,
but did you coin that?
right?
I love it.
Yes.
You should. You need to get some sweatshirts done up, and we can get cozy when we go to our next cabin vacation and wear them.
Exactly.
Marissa, it's Tanya in Edmonton. Do you think, you mentioned in the book between Holly and Ivy that, they never argue and they just, they agree to disagree. Do you think that's sort of the secret to maintaining those lovely relationships?
I mean, I think so. I think there are many secrets, but I think, if you have a best friendship, then you know that it's the person who they don't have to be perfect. You may not agree with everything they do. And maybe it's like agree to disagree, but also agree not to be judgmental. So you could come to your best friend and say, you know what, I'm just feeling that what you're doing isn't maybe for your highest good, or I'm worried about you. But you know, that feeling of being judged by someone and that sort of, oh gosh, I've shared too much and now they're judging me. Like, I think that the best friendship offers that safe space where you can feel that way. So, and you should be able to disagree. You know, you should be able to say, you know, I don't like your opinion, or I don't agree with you, but it's not going to be friendship ending. And it takes work, but, you know, it's very much worth it.
Yeah, that's so important. The non-judgmental part. I think we were having this conversation about some of our friendships that have lasted, or if we've made instant connections like Holly and Ivy did, and that safe space. Now, was there a character that you connected a little more with, or you can see a little bit more of yourself in when it comes to Holly or Ivy?
I think probably Ivy because of the art, because she's an artist, and I think I connect with that passion for art. But I also what isn't the same as me is Ivy is really afraid of really making a go of her art, whereas I've always been the opposite. You know, kind of just gone for it and worked up the nerve to just keep applying myself to my craft and have made a living out of it. But I do know a lot of people who are artists or writers who are afraid the way she is. It's very common, and, you know, almost for good reason, because it's very difficult to make a living as any kind of artist. So in some ways, I think I understand her fear, but I've always been, maybe some might say, foolishly brave, but it's worked out for me in the end. So
yeah, I noticed that you wrote about, you know, Ivy saying, because she was challenged, you know, by Oliver saying, well, why isn't your art enough? You know, and Ivy kept saying, well, it's like, no, I live in New York City. I need a job. This, you know, this is okay. The job I have is stable. And then I can just go on my little art honeymoons to give me that self, the thing that I need, you know. And I really loved that towards the end that she, you know, did some really magical things. Right?
Yeah, that was so special with Ollie. And we also talked a little bit about which vacation we would have chosen. And it was like, you know, even which male character we would have chosen in the film. And we all said Hawaii would be great, but we really loved the whole aspect of Christmas, where there's a cabin and there's snowfall at the perfect moments. And you have this community and people like George and Mrs. Claus and the community checking in on each other. Is there a location that you would kind of choose over the other, or a place that you'd want to spend the holidays at?
Well, it's funny, right? Because I'd love to go to Hawaii and spend the holidays there, but also I don't know if I could do it. I'm going away for Christmas this year with my family, but we're going to the French Alps. Like, it's going to be snowy. I think as Canadians, there probably is something in us where it's not really Christmas if it's not snowy. So we can't fully, you know, bring ourselves to choose Hawaii. So I think I'm with you. I love the snowy cabin. I love just beautiful, snowy, peaceful winter settings at this time of year, and it always gets me in the holiday spirit.
Yeah, I love it.
And we all really loved Aiden.
Yes.
Yeah.
Something about this mountain
do.
man who can, like, help us light fires.
Right. With his electric pickup truck. Like, he's great.
Eco Superman.
Yes.
Oh
he's
my
great.
gosh. You know what it like there's truly a sense of comfort when you I think for those who aren't into rom-coms, they're like, oh my gosh, you know, that Hallmark movie or that book, it's, you know how it's going to end. But when you provide readers with these types of stories, it's like the feel-good magic is so really important to us. And I think that, you know, some health experts would say that, you know what, it is a really good thing for you. Is that why you keep offering them to us?
Yeah, I mean, I think about it all the time because, you know, I do other writing as Marissa Stapley, and it's quite different. And I'm always coming up with holiday romance ideas. And even though I'm, you know, technically too busy, I really don't want to give them up. And I think it is because, exactly as you say, you're always heading towards that guaranteed happy ending. And I think, you know, there are good Hallmark movies and holiday movies, and there are ones that are just okay. And I'm hoping I'm creating more prestige, higher level ones. And I love being able to promise that happy ending and have an agreement with my reader that we're going to, explore some interesting topics and think about life, but feel good at the end. And I think there seems to be never a, moment where we're not saying we need that now more than ever. But I think we do need that now more than ever. So I'm really delighted to be able to make people happy every holiday season.
You need that warm,
we are too.
Yeah, the warm, fuzzy feeling. But, the hot, steamy scenes are welcome as well.
I agree. Although my father-in-law is like one of my number one romance fans. So I was like, okay, I knew they were necessary, but I just kind of tried to put it out of my mind. If he didn't say anything, he said the book was great. So.
You're like, skip a few of the pages.
Yeah.
I'll mark the pages that you should read.
Marissa, I have to ask you, you did such an incredible job of really making us feel like we were, in that little town, and especially George's house. I was just I could actually smell it in there. It was absolutely amazing. And with Hawaii, is there really a thing where Santa and Mrs. Claus comes in on a boat,
dolphins
drawn by dolphins?
Yeah,
really?
That's a real thing. I know. Wow. Yeah, real. I mean, dolphins are so trainable too, right? And it's just that's just what they do. And I know. And you know what? I haven't been to Hawaii at the holidays. So a lot of that, actually, one of my editors spends quite a bit of time in Hawaii. So she helped me make sure that I wasn't sort of being inaccurate. And I think it really probably would be quite a wonderful place to spend the holidays if we could let go of our, addiction to the snowy Canadian setting. Because that really does happen. I didn't make that up.
Well, why don't we next Christmas get a bunch of Canadian girls who've read your book and we'll all meet and have Christmas in Hawaii?
Yeah, okay. And we won't cook for anybody.
Sign me up.
And we won't shop.
Yeah. Do Canada and the French Alps this year. Next year it's Hawaii.
Yeah. Yes, I'm in.
Okay.
Now, we were talking about, obviously, Aiden and Oliver, and we liked that Aiden was hot and functional, a little bit like helping her with things she couldn't figure out.
Yeah.
Both characters obviously were great. Now, in terms of when you read these holiday rom-coms, you picture them on the big screen, and you kind of compared both Ivy and Holly would be kind of similar to Rachel Bilson, and then Aiden's a little bit more like Henry Cavill, and was it Ryan Gosling for Oliver?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Who would be the other female lead? Because I was picking around. I was like, would it be Leighton Meester? Would it be Rachel McAdams? Who is in this film that we're watching?
Oh, yeah, maybe Rachel McAdams. I think that would be, I could see that. Or, Leighton Meester has been in some holiday movie, right? So I wonder, because I'm not that age and I'm in my 40s, I really struggle to find younger. I need to become more familiar with who are the 27-year-olds, because obviously any of these characters I've mentioned, people are too old to play these characters, but that's who it is in my head. So, and I find it's good to have a muse or someone I can picture as I'm working.
Mm-hmm. On the age, there were moments where I'm early 50s now, and I actually forgot that these women were in their 20s and not in my age bracket. So I think, there were a few moments, and maybe it's just me always playing back the years that have gone by, but I thought it was kind of neat.
Yeah, I think they're definitely mature, and the kind of, I have some friends who are in their late 20s, author friends, and they surprise me with their maturity and wisdom, and so I think these characters do too, but they certainly do come from the mind of myself, and I am a little more mature myself. So,
and you've got some great supporting characters as well. We all love George and Mrs. Claus, who is her own character.
Yes.
I loved Larry, and she said something in the book where she said, you only get one life and no one knows how long it's going to be. You are in charge. Is that sort of a theme that you like to work with to, kind of let your readers know you can you are in charge of your own life, and you can make decisions to put you into different situations.
I really do, because, I think romance novels have certainly had a bit of a transformation, let's say, over the past 10 decades, where, it's not necessarily novel or unique to see these, characters who are having, agency, and the relationships are more, feminist. And so I think that's great, but it's so important to me. Like, I really, because the thing about a romance novel is you can still somehow take a character's agency away when they end up in a relationship, or maybe they have to change their life or relocate or something like that happens. And I think for me, I want my characters to be questing for love. I want them to find it, but I want them to find themselves. And I want them to always know, they are the captains of their own ships, because I don't think you can have a healthy romantic relationship, or even, a sustainable friendship, if you're not secure in that, that you're your own person. I mean, ultimately, we're alone with ourselves all the time, and regardless of how many supporting relationships we have. And it's important to like ourselves and to make good choices for ourselves.
Mm-hmm. That's so important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, we've read one of your holiday books, I feel like, the last 4 years. Every year, last year was 3 holidays and a wedding, and with Uzma. Yeah. And so we have on the list the Lightning Bottles as well, to give that a read. What else is next for you, Marissa? Like, what else are you working on right now?
So I'm working on a holiday romance for next year.
Yes,
and
okay,
perfect. We've got, it's really, I'm so excited, but I don't think I can say anything about it yet. I'm actually working on some TV development for a few of my projects, and I feel like all this stuff is, I can't say right now, but soon. There's some very exciting announcements coming within the next few weeks as well. And I'm thinking that I've started sort of outlining a sequel to the novel before The Lightning Bottles, which was Lucky. So that is what I'm going to be. Yeah, I'm kind of talking about that now. So yeah, that's my plan. I'm very excited.
Oh, this is very exciting for us, the readers. Something to look forward to in the new year.
Well, yes, and I'm sure when you've spoken to me before, I'm always teasing the TV announcement, and it actually is literally happening next week. Like, the announcement will come out, so watch for that. I'm sure you'll see it, and it is actually going ahead, and it's very exciting. But it's just inches away. They just need to get through Thanksgiving, and then
we'll definitely tag that in. Yeah.
Yeah, it's exciting.
So exciting.
Yeah, it's happening. So yeah, it's really exciting. So yeah. So I'm happy to talk about that in the future.
Okay, this is Simone jumping in to tell you the news, because when we were on the call with Marissa, she couldn't tell us, but soon after it was announced that her novel Lucky, Apple TV is creating a new limited series, and it is going to star SAG and Golden Globe Award winner Anya Taylor-Joy. It is also going to be executive produced by Reese Witherspoon, because Lucky was one of Reese's book club picks. How amazing.
Yay.
Well, this is definitely the novel that we needed for this time of year, because it was a lovely story to read, and I loved your characters and the settings, and I just think that, you just need to grab a blanket and a couch and just nestle right in, and we'll be ready for the holidays.
I agree with you. I'm ready it's time to hibernate. I think we've earned it, right?
Hibernate and
100%.
Hibernate with someone who's wearing those red reindeer trunks, right?
Exactly.
Thank you.
Where do you get them?
Yeah. Thank you so much for your time today, Marissa. Always lovely chatting with you.
Thank you all. Same to you. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Thank you.
Happy holidays.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
And thank you to you for listening to our latest Relaxing Reads episode. And we will be back with you in the new year. Happy holidays.
Thank you for kicking back and relaxing with us. We hope you'll join us again on Relaxing Reads.